Oh man. Okay, folks, so we are here to talk about episode 21 of Sistas season 4. I didn't think it was bad. It was just meh, kind of dragged on in some places. Um yeah. So dude's going to give his review, then I'll take it from there, but I gave the episode a 7 out of 10. I think that just like the past couple of episodes, anything that doesn't involve the Zach Fatima storyline is, you know, boring. Yes, all of y'all were wrong. I mean, true. Even though it hasn't been proven that Zach is the father, Heather's story seems to check out. Not to mention the fact that, unlike Karen, Heather is, hey, you want a DNA test? Let's get a DNA test. But yeah, my thing has been child support seems just such a low thing on the totem pole, while Hayden is trying to get Zach locked up for good. So his whole thing is like the the FCC and whatnot. I think, and I'm going to give it to my nephew in a second, but this episode just really proved to me even more than before, Karen is an awful friend. I mean, her and Andy, it's almost like a symbiotic, or what do they call it? What do they call it? Like a parasite or like a hermit crab or something, like a symbiotic relationship where it's like both organisms are dependent on each other to exist. Wait, not a hermit crab, but like yeah, this is weird. Okay, so let him give his review, and we'll go from there. So before I hand over the mic, make sure you hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video, and I will talk to you later. Well, after he's done.
I give my review a 8 out of 10 because it was not bad but pretty good. My favorite part is when Karen came to Annie's house and inquired about Zach is cheating. She told her that she was that Karen was right about Gary, that he been spying on her, and she leaving the house so that she won't be spied, and that's it.
Okay, yeah, that's better than the score I gave it. Yes, better than the score I gave it. Because I asked him, I'm like, bro, you want a review, but what are you going to say? And he just talked about the one part he liked. And like I said, this just proved yet again, I the other sisters are boring. I don't care about the Sabrina storyline with Logan and whatnot, because we had a wasted scene with Q and Maurice. Oh, where are your keys? And Maurice talking about the whole I'm not stupid. And it's like, bro, every action you've taken this entire season has just proved your stupidity. I can smell a snake from a mile away. And it's like, bro, you let a serpent sleep on your couch and become your stand butler and cook. You're going to jail. And did Danny not even tell Sabrina to get a lawyer? All she kept saying was, be careful on the job. I mean, I'm pretty sure telling Sabrina to get a lawyer might have been a good thing, because she's like, let me call Andy. What? So she can throw some divorce papers at him? But Andy could possibly look into it to get Sabrina the proper representation, because she doesn't know what the hell's going on. And I'm just really trying to get my thoughts together, because I just don't care about anything non-Zatima related. That doesn't mean I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. You know, my job is to review and break down everything, but it just shows you how dumb the entire structure of the show is outside of Zach and Fatima. No, she didn't tell her about a lawyer. Thank you, because I was kind of going in and out because the Wi-Fi was good tonight. It kind of buffered 1 or 3 times, but overall, this episode dragged, you know, it really did. Danny's going to regret not telling Sabrina about the lawyer. He's like, everything's going to be fine. No, no. How do you know that? Logan didn't tell you everything because he couldn't. All he said was tell Sabrina to get a lawyer, and you didn't even do that. And I wanted to get that stuff out of the way because, folks, yes, I will be getting to the Zach stuff, the Fatima stuff. My favorite scene of the episode was when Zach lost his cool when he was at Fatima's apartment, because I'm in the same boat as him. I'm not going to put up with the disrespect, the constant belittling and throwing my past in my face. I loved it because I love Zach and Fatima, but Fatima, she was kind of, she was wrong for that. The whole thing about, oh, you're getting a DNA test, but that's not the only thing you need to get tested for. First of all, you and Zach have had wild and crazy sex since season 2. The whole thing, my thing is he loses cool Fatima, but when Karen talked down on him how many times that night, I think the difference is he was just fed up. It's the fact that he was being attacked by all sides. First it was Karen, then Fatima comes down asking what's going on, then Heather shows up and Fatima goes at him. So I actually understand why Zach blew up the way he did. I'm not saying Fatima doesn't have the right to be upset, but I do feel like it was definitely wrong to just kind of beat him down, because just like Zach said, she got to you, huh? I'm not worried about Karen or that stripper, but Fatima doesn't realize from Zach's perspective, she was acting like Karen in that moment. I know people are like, you call Fatima Karen? No, I'm saying it's the fact that Zach was just being attacked. He's trying to do better, but I feel like this is what happened every time he tried to do something with Karen, because later on in the episode when Andy and Karen are talking at Karen's place, all the times I bailed him out, put money on his books, every time he would come to me with these dreams and everything, I feel like every time Zach tried to do better, Karen would always bring up what he did wrong before. So I feel like that's exactly what Fatima was doing in his mind. Fatima was just mad with the way things went. I think she will apologize to Zach. I hope so. I hope Tyler Perry's listening to your commentary. Stacey, I appreciate the notion, but I've been at this for over 5 years. So, I mean, I don't know. I know the cast listens. What score did you give the episode? I gave it a 7. My nephew gave it an 8. Let's talk about the senator's wife. I'll talk about the first part. Don't worry. I'll talk about the first part at Zach's house, because I was ready for Fatima to, for the first time we saw Fatima looking stupid AF tonight. That isn't the first time. I think one time at the beginning of season 3, she was acting really like a B word. And she called Zach later that day to apologize for being, and I quote, bitchy. So I did not like how Fatima was acting. I can understand her being upset, like, hey, Zach, this is why I'm not selling my apartment, because the constant drama. Once things get sorted out, then we can talk about me moving in 100%. But for now, we need to slow that down. If she would have said that, that would have been a lot more understandable than her just talking down to Zach. Just like, it's like Zach said, that was way before you came along. And trust and believe, I do have some continuity questions, but I'll get to that. The senator's wife was way out of line. Hayden told her to do that just to get Zach in trouble. I believe that. Part of me does believe that. Hayden and Tony are probably kind of linked up too. I don't know. Not to mention, what if Hayden gets hotel room security footage? And, well, not in the room, but do they have hotel cameras in the room? I know, in the hallways and stuff. So it will be like, look at Zach going into the room and coming out. So I don't know. Notice how Karen is all of a sudden telling Andy to keep the penthouse and get even, but was against it when Danny said it. These girls are crazy. Do you think Hayden has something to do with Heather? I honestly don't think so. That just seems way below his pay grade. Like he has bigger plans. Zach is definitely experiencing the saying, more money, more problems. Poor guy can't catch a break. Yeah, I don't have much to say about Tony. It's the fact that it just seems way too sketchy. She got jungle fever. All right. Tony going to try to save her ass, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's working with Hayden. I agree. It just seems way too coincidental. Because remember, when he went to her hotel room the first time to get confirmation on the stock tip, Tony wanted him to take like, what was it, $50,000, put it in the bank and flip it through the stocks, so she can live off it. I think if Zach did that, he would look even guiltier. But the fact that his hands are clean, I feel like her trying to get him to sleep with her is a way to kind of, just make his hands dirty. No pun intended. No, they don't have cameras in the hotel room, but Senator is going to put a camera in the room, of course. Did you see the review for next week? I saw the end credit promo. I did not see the trailer if they dropped it. So if anybody has the trailer or teaser trailer, if it's 15 seconds or 30 seconds, send it to me. When Danny said Andy's not a criminal attorney is laughable when Tyler Perry also has her playing Zach's defense lawyer. To be fair, no. It's the fact that, remember the DA and the other guy? I know Jake was the one who got Bill Watts, but I think it was DA Jefferson, the one that was talking about the probation and crap. I think that Andy was actually working with someone else, hence why you had her talking with Robin to get favors, because that's not her expertise. So that's actually not against continuity. I see what you're saying there. I think it was Gary saying he wanted to see his attorney Hayden. Yeah, because in the synopsis for next week, he's going to try to do the buyer's remorse thing to get back everything he bought for Andy, even though it's in her name. Yeah, like I said, I really wanted to kind of cover the basis of the episode before we talked about the first scene, but let's talk about Karen in this episode. I was talking about it earlier. I think Melrose was like codependency. Andy and Karen do not need to. I feel like the way that Karen feels so entitled, everything I did for you, that's how she treats Andy the same way she's treating Zach because of their mutual connection to Fatima. That's your assistant. No, Fatima is Andy's friend. Just because you don't like her because she stole your man who you threw aside doesn't mean that she's not Andy's friend. And I feel like, Karen is somewhat of a bully in that I feel like sometimes Andy doesn't want to be her friend anymore. But Karen just, inserts herself into situations where, hey, Andy, you're going to do what I say no matter what. Because if you go back to like season 2, that abrasive behavior, like, when she tried to, what did she try to do? Flush the engagement ring down the sink or something? I forgot what she tried to do. Basically, it was some sort of like ring that Gary gave Andy, and she wanted to flush it down the sink, but Andy didn't want to do it. She has to realize that her best friend has a best friend. Yeah, it's just like when it's like in Toy Story when Woody was no longer the favorite toy and it was Buzz, and he got in his feelings about it. That's literally Karen. She literally feels like, I've been your friend for this long. I was here first. You ain't got no other friend. What? Wait, did Karen still refer to Zach as her man when Heather was talking to her? I think she was quoting Heather like, what do you mean your man? Like, I mean, what do you mean my man? Like, oh, also, okay, let's go back to the first scene. Let's go back to the first scene. So Fatima comes downstairs. The fact that she wants Karen to speak her mind, like, hey, you were talking all that shit when you didn't think I was listening. So what's this about? Oh, I'm just another number. He's going to get tired of me and come back to you. And I would have been like, well, what if you're talking about this? If this is his child, and he is my man, and this is our home, and I'm going to be in your lives, then if you got something to say to him, you got something to say to me. Honestly, instead of Zach holding her back, I wish Zach would have just let things go. Didn't Karen look like she was putting her purse down, like she was getting ready to throw down? So yeah, that I did that clip. I posted that clip in the video of Marcy slapping Alex, even though she was pregnant, bumped that. And I'm glad that things played out exactly like I said in my videos, like, Fatima saying, hey, my house, our house, and the fact that you're just not going to roll up unannounced. Pam on the phone was funny. It was. It's just the fact that Heather came out of nowhere. Heather just made no sense. The fact that I was going to come by in the morning, but I saw you standing outside. And then she even told Karen, and I'm glad the one thing I will vouch for Karen is the fact that she called out Heather. Wait, so you were drinking and driving with your son in the back seat? I was only drinking a little. Okay. All right. So she introduced herself, and as predicted, she's a stripper. Destiny is her stripper name. And apparently, okay, let's work this. Karen's whole thing. Me and Zach have been together for 3 years, but the son is 3 years old. Heather was pregnant for up to 9 months. I don't get the continuity there. I mean, were Zach and Karen together for 3 years and a few months? Was it a little less than 4 years? Because that makes no sense. Because timeline wise, Zach and Destiny would have had to do in the VIP room prior to Zach and Karen getting together. Then when they were on and off again, the boy would have been growing up. So I don't see. Okay. Also, let's talk continuity. Remember towards the end of season 2, when Karen was in her feelings because she found out Zach and Fatima are a thing. Fatima didn't know because Zach never said her name. That was the whole beginning of her going like, I can't believe he didn't say my name. And the irony is Heather knows who Karen is because when her and Zach would hook up or whatever, he would just vent about her. So I just love the fact that she's like, she wasn't going to leave to go anywhere. But then the moment Heather had her number, like, I know who you are, Karen's like, I gotta bounce. So this makes no sense to me. Not to mention Heather seems to make it seem like Zach and her hooked up more than once. This entire thing makes no sense. This makes no sense whatsoever. And for Zach to potentially have a son, you can't F this up. These details need to be on point. Mr. Perry, this is why you need somebody to at least double check the dialogue. Because if you're going to insert a potential child into Zach's life, a major thing to shake things up, you got to have all your ducks in order. You got to have all that stuff in order. And Zach has been crying. Karen has been crying 3 years for seasons now. This isn't just like a random season 1 thing where she said it one time. And then we could say, okay, in season 1, I get it. That was season 1. Continuity changes because this happens a lot in shows and movies and books. Like when it comes to like the first book, the first movie in a series, the first season of a show, continuity can be, switched around. Heck, like the settings, the places people live at, the jobs, character relations. That's why you have so many shows where a running gag is, oh, in Happy Days, this person had a brother that disappeared, or in Family Matters, this character disappeared. But when it comes to introducing a child and the fact that we're constantly reminded of how long Zach and Karen have been together, sir, this does not make sense. Okay? He could have just turned 3. It would make a little more sense. No. Even if the child was 3 years old, 3 full years old, and Zach and Karen were together 3 years, that would still not include the 9-month pregnancy. It makes no sense. Even if you included like a leap year, it doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, at least with okay, so she hired a private investigator. This was my biggest tweet of the night because everybody was like, so you hired a PI, and it took, okay, to be fair, I don't think Heather said when she hired a PI, but regardless, it took this long to find Zach. They were together when he cheated, so it does make sense. No, it does not. It does not. The writing does not match up. Yes, you could say Zach cheated on Karen at a strip club when he was mad at her, but that doesn't equate to Karen saying how long they've been together, as well as how old the son is. The PI stuff doesn't make sense. It reminds me of Leslie from season 1. Remember the private investigator that Jasmine hired to follow Gary around, and then it turned out all of her findings were BS because hey, Gary was in the airport with another woman. That was Jasmine's sisters. But then again, there were a lot of photos where he was like with a lot of other women, including Andy, but those other women were never brought up. Again, that's season 1 continuity. Yeah, and I was about to get to that. I was in my tweet with Zach's police criminal record, all the times he's been in and out of jail. It took this long to find him. You didn't even have his address. I don't know. Karen was just showing a whole ass this episode. You know, she goes over to Andy's, vents to her, and then tells her how not to handle the situation. So basically, she goes over to Andy's to vent about the situation, but then tells Andy how to comfort her. Like, you know, don't hug me, don't touch me, don't defend Fatima. I don't know. I felt bad for Zach. This is one of those examples of how I can see why. Remember in the Oval? Yeah, because people do even remember that show. Like the whole thing about we understand why Sam cheated on Priscilla because he wasn't getting any at home, but it wasn't just a one-off thing. It was a constant thing where Priscilla would have every excuse in the book, but doesn't tell Sam why. And then we saw why he faltered with Victoria. I felt the same way with Zach when, yeah, I can see why he would possibly revert back to his old self because the dude kept taking L's the entire episode. You know, it made no sense to have Heather go to the salon the next day. I mean, yeah, why would you apologize? It's like you clearly saw Zach with his current woman. He doesn't care about Karen, yet you went to see Karen to tell her that, hey, guess what? It wasn't that bad. Zach loved you, but you're talking about a Zach from 3 years ago. Nah, that was only 3 weeks. Sam was just a dog. I personally don't like Heather's body language when she was introducing her child. She hesitated too much for me. I got to go back and check that. I'm not feeling Fatima that much and rooting for Hayden. Huh? Fatima is a better friend to Andy than Karen. Agree. Why did Karen go to Andy? To fill up runtime in the episode. How did Heather know where Karen's salon was and make it make sense? Given that Zach apparently talked about Karen, she probably put 2 and 2 together. Fatima had Jake shook. I know it's like, well, if would she stay quiet if he slept with her? Oh shit. I'm sorry if I'm missing chats. Like I mean, there's only a few things. Can I talk about the end credit promo? I did not like the fact that Preston is going to Danny to pour his heart out about the whole I will do whatever it takes to be with you. No, leave it alone, man. You can do better than her. Let her go. But she had enough info to give a PI to find Zach. Makes no sense. That's why I'm not really going to break my brain over this. I don't see a point to it. It makes no sense. I feel like everything is being tossed together. This with a cowboy hat on. Oh my god, I can't see can't stand seeing Preston running to Danny. I'm not going to lie. Based on the promo alone, I'm not too excited about the season finale. When Heather called Karen a bee, that says a lot about how Karen acts. Did you notice she was breaking down in tears when Preston said that? Somebody recorded the promo off their TV, which I appreciate. It's just I couldn't get that good of a look. Maybe if I zoomed in, I'll jump through the TV on Preston. He needs to let her be. Yes, Zach got to learn to go ahead and tell Fatima when stuff's going on. Yeah, that's how Danny's overpowering him. He's jumping Simp Nation at this point. Preston is turning into Aaron at this point. Matter of fact, I'm guessing that Karen canceled her ice cream and pickle date with Aaron. Didn't she literally say, when Andy's like, can I stay at your place? Do you like me? No, I don't like you, but I need you. So come on. What kind of friend says that? Karen looked like a fool at Zach's house and going to Andy. I can't believe I made a fool out of myself. But you literally told Sabrina while you were doing her hair tonight, I won't make a fool out of myself no more. And there you go. Zach is turning to a simp. I wouldn't go that far. Preston definitely needs to move on. It's getting exhausting. It really is. I wanted to say, did she go to Andy's if she was going to be combative and inconsolable? It's the same way that Gary was acting when he would constantly call Aaron over to his office. How is Zach going to ask for a DNA test for Heather's baby when he barely mentions one with Karen? I love him and Fatima together, but he's being really dumb right now. I can see the argument there, but to be fair, Heather is rolling up with a full-on child on her hip. So, yeah. And I think I mentioned this earlier in the live stream, but notice how Heather, despite being confident that it's a child, Heather is so agreeable with a DNA test compared to Karen, who wouldn't even tell Zach that I'm not sure. The doctor said it could be either or. Tyler Perry writes all the men to be weak and the women to be nasty. I like how you said that, because more often than not, people will highlight, one group of characters over the other. Like, man, they're weak. But then I like how you put in there like the women are nasty. Can we talk about Fatima calling out Andy's outfit? Can we talk about how Fatima called out Andy's wardrobe at the job? Please, somebody. That part sent me. That was the part right there that had me going, finally somebody said it. The melons were out. She had no reason. She had no reason to dress like that. Robin, well, Robin isn't even there. Didn't he get on a jet and he will be gone for a few days or something? I'm so disappointed in Tyler regarding this show. He has looking really crazy. There's no balance. Oh, okay. You're speaking from a black female perspective. I see what you do. It was nice white suit. She looked good, but I'm like, hey, I couldn't help but stare at him. I mean, and keep in mind, it looks like she was sitting lower than Fatima was at the desk. So, yeah. Andy needs a new shirt. Robin left anyway. I'm glad. And she said, oh, I hope Robin likes girls, please. You know what they say, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Oh, wow, you really went there. I don't think everyone knows a DNA test can be performed before the baby's born. Yeah, I did a video on that. I forgot the name of the procedure, but it can be done. Karen's definitely selfish. No. Can we talk about the fact that when people have been bringing that up in the chat, the fact that, Karen doesn't want to hear the truth. I mean, she told Andy, no, don't leave. Say what you need to say. But then when Andy was telling the truth, I think you need to go. So Karen, when Andy brought up the fact that Zach paid her all the money he owed her, but was that all? Basically, it's almost like she's talking about emotional compensation. Karen needs to quit. This is ridiculous. I mean, yeah, how can you be friends with someone you can't be honest with? That's crazy. That's what I felt dragged down the episode. You remember how the moment where you had Sabrina and Karen in the salon? It was a great scene until the subject switched to Zach. I felt the same way in the scene at Karen's house because we haven't seen Andy at Karen's apartment since what, season 1 or 2. But the fact that these characters are just so toxic, I didn't even like the scene. There are parts I liked, like, this softer Karen. Soft? What are you talking about? I don't know. And then not to mention when Andy asked about why are you acting the way you acting, is it the pregnancy? That seems a bit too cliche. I'm not gonna lie. My sister was kind of a B when she was pregnant, but not during the first month. It took a while for that to kick in. So I don't know. Something might be off with Karen. Look, for any ladies who have been pregnant, I mean, is it possible to have those humongous mood swings during month 1? I mean, didn't the doctor say barely 4 weeks pregnant or something? What was it? Barely 4 weeks or barely 3 weeks? Something ain't adding up. Once again, Preston put forth the effort. Please, I don't want to see Preston leave. I'd rather him have a reduced role if it only meant he would stick around and hang out with Jake and Zach, but still. That's just typical Karen behavior, not hormones. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. She wants her man back, but isn't, I don't know. We barely see the sisters together. I'm pretty sure Tyler Perry watched Living Single or Girlfriends. Can they spend quality time and not have to work every single day? I don't even want to talk about the Q crap because we know they're going to jail in next season. So I don't know. Karen is missing a few screws, no hormones. I know when I had my hormones, I actually had a baby bump. My mom is pregnant right now and she be angry a lot. Karen needs help ASAP. Yep. Karen is just nasty. Mm-hmm. I was barely 3 weeks pregnant and the mood swing was crazy. Some people don't even know they were pregnant at 4 weeks. How is Karen feeling all pregnant? She was sure of it, and then the doctor confirmed it. Jeremy, the test done before birth, amniocentesis. Yeah, that's the name of it. That's the name of it. I feel like he needs to make a way for Fatima and Danny to be friends. They're pure comedy when they're together. Yeah, when they're living by what they talk about. Pam said Karen can't do perms though. Yo, Pam's shade was on point. I ain't gonna lie. She was one of my favorite parts of the episode. If Karen knew that Andy knew about the other baby mama, she would have cussed Andy out. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad Andy didn't say anything about that. Karen messed up the budding friendship with the other sisters. Karen needs to leave. Honestly, I feel like if Karen left the sisters group, it would actually do a lot of benefit. Fatima seems to be very insecure. I did not like how she was written for most of the episode. I get her being upset, but that scene at her apartment with Zach was really bad. The acting was good, but the way Fatima was acting, I didn't care for it. Andy seemed scared of Karen to me. Oh, yeah, I can see that. She's not as strong as Karen. She said that in season 2. Karen really don't like Danny, and that's what's crazy. And they're so much alike, actually. Danny and Fatima be good friends. I saw the promo too. Fatima told Zach to do what he got to do. I don't know what Karen was on when she said she doesn't know for sure, but she can feel it. It was Zach's baby. I'm just glad she finally took off that peach suit. I liked Andy's suit. I liked it more than this white one she got that's so revealing. That's just me. Modesty is sexy to me. Fatima went to work so covered up and Andy let it all hang out. The irony. I know, right? Crazy. Even the Hayden scene had me going, oh, here we go again. Andy always looks good. I'm not saying she doesn't look good. I just don't think wearing such a revealing outfit is professional. Fatima needs to be pregnant. Hell no. Not yet. I'm glad Fatima ain't want to tell Andy how she feels. Because yeah, she didn't tell Fatima didn't tell Andy about the whole stock tip thing yet because it's not really her thing to tell. Well, yes, Danny was wearing the hell out of that dress. The one she wore to her date with Logan, yeah, she looked good in that. I'm not going to lie, but remember when Sabrina went over to Danny's apartment and they were talking? Anytime that background music kicks in, I know the scene's going to be dumb. I'm glad Andy finally took off the pink suit. She's been wearing that for days. It was the same day in Sisters. It was weeks for us. Why does Hayden always reveal all of his cards? I know, right? It's like the vice president in the Oval where he just blabbed his mouth off instead of just doing what he was going to do. That's a good point. Andy says she's going to stay out of it, but then she, you know, I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Trying to think. I mean, is there really anything else to talk about? Because the episode kind of fell a little flat for me. I think last week was probably better. Wait, I don't know. This episode wasn't awful, but it did kind of faltered in some places. At this point, Hayden is asking for all the smoke. So yeah, apparently we know the FCC connection he has was the reason he had access to the airport database. So his track should be pretty covered at that point. Hopefully, the 3-year-old will finally get Zach to move on. Fatima needs to get her. How can Andy be taken seriously dressing so unprofessionally? That's what I'm saying. You know, Hayden's supposed to have a restraining order for Fatima, but he was in her office. I know. I don't trust Heather at all. Agreed. That's a nice house. Me and my baby going to be fine. Yeah, whatever. I'm surprised Zach didn't bring up the fact that, hey, you got me arrested, and we don't even know if that's my kid. I wish Zach would have said that. I fell flat for me too. Last week was so much better. I'm not going to lie. I felt like this week I was looking at the clock more, asking, okay, dang, it's only 9:30. This episode's moving slow. So I guess Fatima's not moving in now. Not yet. We know she will be by the first episode of Zatima season 1. They're actually, I know that I think Crystal posted something about fitting day. So I think that she's getting ready for the outfits Fatima's going to wear in Zatima season 2. So they're getting ready to film Zatima season 2 next week. So keep that in mind. They're currently working on Bruh season 4. How did Heather know where Zach lived? The private investigator could have been Jenna, the woman that arrested Zach. So that's probably how she got the information. Besides child support, if Zach is the father of Heather baby, what does she expect to get? More money, more money, more money. Come on now, a little flat tonight was the equivalent of a 3-day open bottle of soda. Yeah, the strip club with Natalie. I remember that. Maurice and Q wasn't needed. Nope. Didn't he already call to let them know he had Maurice admitting? No. That was in the promo from last week about this week's episode. Hopefully next week Zach gets a DNA test. I hated when Karen didn't want to leave Zach's house, even though Zach and Fatima kept telling her about the disrespect. The Heather stuff is stupid. Doesn't sound like she even tried to contact Zach. I agree. So he does know Heather Destiny. It seems so. Zatima is a series, correct? Yes. They're filming season 2, and we don't have and haven't seen a screenshot letting us say anything about season 1. Maybe next week. Do you think Heather drugged Zach? That's why you don't remember? No, she said they were pretty drunk. Don't count on this if this is Tyler. Yeah, I don't think that Zach is getting a DNA test just next week. I think that probably won't happen until Sistas season 5 or Zatima season 1. I think Zatima season 1 is going to happen first. That's just my thought process. Zach remembered who she was. That's how he got caught in the VIP section. VIP? I ain't gonna lie. Fatima's face right there was funny. I bet even if the DNA test comes back and Zach is the father, people will say that it's been tampered with and Hayden's behind it. Absolutely correct. I believe that. Let me just say, doing this live stream This is fun. I think I had more. I'm having more fun talking about the episode than watching it. Zatima can drop that same time as the Oval returns. Yeah, because it's a BET Plus show. It's not on BET. And plus, some say they're dropping all episodes at once. Others say it's once a week. I do not know. Karen will leave Zach and Fatima alone now. I hope so, but I don't think so. I don't know. Honestly, it seems if she does leave him alone, then Heather actually coming up was a good thing. Love your commentary. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. The Oval is coming back in October, I think. I don't care. I'm going to watch it, but I have no expectations. I have no expectations whatsoever. Have you watched the Upshaw season 2? No, when Sisters goes off next week, that's when I'll watch Kingdom Business. That's when I'll watch the Upshaws. I want to take my time and get all this stuff done. If it's all at once, I'm binge watching. I kind of have to. So I didn't like the ending. The ending was like, what? $32.71. The Oval has been going downhill since season 2. I agree. The Upshaw season 2 is disappointing and lost the momentum of season 1. That is disappointing because I thought season 1 was pretty good. Love Kingdom Business. It's time for Zach and Fatima put a restraining order on Karen, especially after tonight with them both telling her to leave. Yeah, I agree. There was things could get pretty bad pretty quickly. How many days have passed since the mid-season premiere? Do not get me started. I'm still on season 1, episode 1. Are you talking about Kingdom Business or the Upshaws? Sometimes it's the small details Tyler misses to make the episodes better. And I don't know about that. It's sometimes the little details that makes things more confusing. And Karen talking about Andy being her friend Karen. The thing is, you can be friends with somebody for 5 years, but then a new friend you've only known for a couple of months could be a better friend in a few weeks than that other person was for many years. I just hate that Karen always makes it. Karen has a victim mentality where, in her mind, she has done so much for other people. And if they don't reciprocate that level of loyalty, or if they even try to tell her the truth about something she doesn't want to hear, it's almost like she immediately feels like she's being attacked. She is not a friend. Zach needs to check Karen and Heather. Call Andy. Andy, don't be sticking up for Fatima enough. I see that, but I don't think Fatima needs Andy to do that. Zach needs to check Karen and Heather, call and text before stopping by. If Tony really meant what she said, she wanted to sleep with Zach, and Zach is the man. He's even attracting older women now. I ain't gonna lie. Tony got nice cheekbones. Tyler needs to stop shooting these series in 2 days. Always with the wigs. You know folks all your life, but often it's the folks you just meet willing to move mountains for you. I know, right? It's like when people I know, friends, are like, yo, tell me how to start, social media pages or YouTube or podcast, or people I know who like sell stuff, like they make shirts and whatnot, or they're photographers. When I first started, I wasn't one thing I never wanted to do was be that person on Facebook that would spam the news feed with nothing but my own stuff. Yo, subscribe to my channel and whatnot, because I knew there was a fan base for Tyler Perry content. So I'm like, let me tap into that, because what's the point of flooding the news feed on Facebook when I think no more than like a couple of my friends are watching the shows like I am? So really, it's just one of those things where more often than not, especially on the internet, you might get more assistance from somebody from halfway across the country, if not the world, than somebody you live in the same neighborhood with. So Karen needs to get over it. Like, everybody owes her something. If Andy and Danny became good friends with Fatima, Karen going to be mad. It's going to get really annoying seeing Preston at Danny's job. Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that. I know that already has me going, Preston, man, just this finale does not look good. I bet Sabrina and Maurice are going to get arrested on the job. The best trio, Danny, Andy, and Fatima, to an extent. I don't think Karen and Andy will be friends anymore, especially with Andy being friends with Fatima. Yep. See, that's the thing about the season finale of Sisters. More often than not, when we get to the season finale, and I mean a little, any development that the characters go through is automatically erased in the final episode. So then when we start in the next season, it's like a blank slate, like nothing ever changed. I don't know. I expect this huge, dumb cliffhanger. Yeah, I think Maurice and Sabrina getting arrested is probably going to be towards the end of the episode. I see Andy and Danny being friends with Fatima. Tyler Perry needs to introduce a new character for Preston. I haven't watched The Oval. Isn't it worth watching? Don't waste your time. Basically, if you have not watched The Oval now, if you haven't watched it yet, don't start. I mean, I would recommend seasons 1 and 2, and that's it. I just want Zatima to start. Yeah, I did a whole video like, oh, what if Heather was the one that stole Karen's credit card? Nope, that didn't happen. Weren't they supposed to get sued by Gary's wife? Andy handled that off screen. She told Karen, she took it to the court, yada, yada, yada. It's not happening. No date on Zatima yet. Maybe next week. Wait, I know Sisters did not just put out, I can't help but feel bad for Karen and then to give her what's going on. Who the hell cares? Ain't this part at this point be forgetting Sisters? I'm not going to lie. It's like ever since season 3, Sabrina has just kind of been there. It's like there's been nothing for her character. I heard October on Zatima. I'm glad that Fatima said something to Karen to put her in her place. Yeah, well, Karen won't budge. It was only when Heather rolled up with that son that Karen, like, you know what? Fine, you can have him. Yeah. I'm laughing at the promo. Well, if you sleep with her, will she stay quiet? Oh, shit. The way Fatima just rolled in there, that was funny. Sabrina's not needed at all. I love Novi Brown. I love Novi, but don't get me wrong. Sabrina, her character has had nothing to do. I feel bad. I mean, the bio stuff seems good, but it's all entangled in that dumb Maurice and Q crap. And I feel like Sabrina's getting the short end of the stick when it comes to like any sort of development. Her not being around Calvin is good, but yeah. Sabrina is the yes man of the sister circle. She's the agreeable one just to go along with the crowd. Man. Anything else y'all want to talk about? Anything Tyler Perry or non-Tyler Perry related? I'm probably going to watch all the Queen's Men after Sisters is done next week. Don't they upload like the last 2 episodes of part 1 tomorrow? Yeah, Jake got scared. Sabrina, Maurice, Q, Calvin, they can all leave the show. Yep. Kingdom Business is more interesting than Sisters, even though it was 10 episodes. None of them are real friends. They're just there to use each other. 1,000% agree. Fatima should be the only one. Oh, excuse me. Fatima should be the one turning up at the hotel. Who has the promo for next week? Tyler Perry's needs writers. Everyone hates Chris Comeback's cartoon. I did a video on that article months ago. Yeah. Do we even need it? All right. Well, if nothing else, I guess I might as well go to sleep. Oh, 8 episodes. 8 episodes. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. I got nothing else to talk about. We've been up here longer than the episode, and there really isn't much to dissect. We'll just have to wait and see how many videos I can do from this one. Do you feel bad for Jacoby? Jacoby, I don't know why Sky Black left the show. Was it a situation where because he's all the Queen's men? I mean, remember Raquel Palmer, the Officer Rhea, the cop that knew Zach in season 1? She was on Sisters for like a few episodes. What was it, in season 2, right? Or season 1, part 2? I forgot. And then she went on All the Queen's Men for a bigger role. I think Sky Black probably did the same thing. Or it could have been the situation where I believe KJ said once in a live stream that one of the things in a Tyler Perry contract is there's no fraternizing or dating between cast members of the show. So I know that she said her and Sky went to TP about their relationship. So I wonder, and look, this is no disrespect to the couple. I honestly don't know. I'm only speaking of what I recall from the different live streams they would do together. Like, when KJ would post about how, and they would they would answer questions like, hey, here's how we got together and this and that. So basically, I don't know if Jacoby was written out of the show to bypass the clause of, oh, well, if Jacoby is no longer on the show, then KJ and Sky dating was fine. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it must be an updated policy because remember, Tinka Sumter and Nicholas James met on the haves and the have-nots, and so did Brett and Priscilla, aka Erica and Mitch. So I don't know. I don't know. Candy dated her co-star. Yep, I just said it. But regardless, Jacoby I thought was a good character, but then they just made him crazy and wrote him off. And I'm joking, like, if Maurice and Sabrina get arrested at work, does the bank shut down? Like they're the only people in the bank. So yeah, I don't know. They are not even on set long enough for such a policy. That is a very good point. When you're filming shows in 2 weeks, does it really matter? I don't know. Okay, well, that's really all I got. So thanks so much for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Yeah, tomorrow I'll do my review. If you get your hands on the trailer for next week, send it my way. I scored the episode a 7 out of 10. So thanks so much. I will catch you next week for the season finale. All right, guys, have a great night.